Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a follow-up to a video I did some time ago. We're going to have some more stats here. Going over some stuff from usually it's from Democrat progressives, and most of them don't pay taxes. Like the janitor McStupid, the fake doctor McStupid, an old brown teeth who's getting like 350% more out of Medicare than he paid him while smoking cigarettes, which makes a lot of sense. It's usually people who don't pay taxes are wondering, oh, they got a 90% income tax rate, we got to go back to that, and a 70% income tax rate, and even when Kennedy lowered it and them their tax rates. And it's basically that, you know, take a whole bunch of stuff from productive people and give it to people who are not responsible. And they just can't get through their head that, you know, somebody's the janitor, McStupid is, somebody's the CEO, somebody's a supervisor on the production line. You know, and all that. Everybody's not equal. I hate to tell you, they think everything's like should be codified like some union regime where everybody gets paid the same wage. And boy, you know, if you've been there 25 years, you definitely avoid any layoff, even if you're a bum. But anyway, not to get too long-winded, let's go over some other stats. You really wish it was like the 1950s, and they miss a lot of stuff, as I went over in my other video. I went over a ton of stuff that most of them won't cover. So let's look at food stamp rolls first. See what percentage of the population was on food stamps. Average number of residents on food stamps, fiscal years 1983 through fiscal years 1993, 21.222 million. Percentage of U.S. population on food stamps. I have all the links below the video too, so you can look up the population data. Percentage of U.S. population on food stamps, fiscal years 1983 through 1993, 8.65%. It's probably because they were selfish and should have had more people on it. Average size of food stamp rolls, fiscal years 1994 through 2001, 21.873 million. Percentage of U.S. population on food stamps, fiscal years 1994 through 2001, 8.08%. Average size of food stamp rolls, fiscal years 2002 through 2009, 25.545 million. Remember, it was George W. Bush himself signing legislation from a Democrat Senate and a Republican House that made it easy peasy lemon squeezy to get on food stamps. And the USDA has become the Department of Food Stamps. Average percent of U.S. population on food stamp rolls, fiscal years 2002 through 2009, 8.58%. Uh-oh. Average size of food stamp rolls, fiscal years 2010 through 2015. Ignore my typo there. I meant to put 15. Average size of food stamp rolls, fiscal year 2010 through 2015, 45.281 million. Average percent of U.S. population on food stamps, fiscal year 2010 through 2015, 14.36%. So Newt Gingrich was right about something. Obozo is the food stamp president. So come get your free food stamps. And part of that, something I may go over in a later video, so-called ABWDs, able-bodied without dependents. A lot of people who don't have dependents are on food stamps. Raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, and then they can lose their job, and that'll help. Now we're going to go over Pentagon spending as a percentage. Pentagon base budget plus OCO, overseas contingency operations. Pentagon base budget again plus overseas contingency operations. Percentage of all federal outlays. We've got the tables. You can go look. Again, the links are under. You can go look this up for yourself. Pay attention. Pentagon base budget plus OCO, percentage of all federal outlays, fiscal years 1962 through 1981. 35.93%. So, and Democrats ran Congress the entire time. There were some Republican presidents. There were some Democrat presidents. But that whole time, the Democrats controlled Congress. And look at all the warmongering they engaged in. Wow. And then the evil Reagan came in with a Republican Senate most of the time and a Democrat House the whole time. Fiscal year 1982 through 1989. Pentagon base budget plus OCO was 28.3%, so a big decline. The evil Reagan was a warmonger. He was a huge warmonger. Well, evidently not as big a warmonger as the Democrats running Congress. Fiscal year 1994 through 2001. This is Billy Boy Clinton with a Republican Congress most of the time. It dropped precipitously to 19.02%. Pentagon base budget plus OCO, Overseas Contingency Operations. And then, fiscal year 2002 through 2009, Democrats thought, by reading some of them, you thought 80% of the budget was military. No. It was only 19.67%. So it did uptick from Slick Willie Clinton. Now, the reason I'm going over this, Obama's deficits, if he didn't have, and this will go back to my previous video too, if he didn't have the uber low interest rates, which Reagan didn't have, and Clinton didn't have, and Bush's daddy didn't have, if he didn't have those uber low interest rates, which means your debt payments would be higher, the deficit would be much higher. And Obama's spending a lot less of the, under him, from fiscal year 2010 to fiscal year, and to the end of fiscal year 2015, 18.18%. He's spending a lot less of the entire federal budget on the Pentagon base budget and OCO. Now, that doesn't mean we still can't cut some stuff. So don't misunderstand me, you brain-dead, borderline retarded Democrats. There's still some stuff we could cut, like NATO, like getting rid of the nuclear triad. We don't need 3 different ways to deliver nukes to a country if we have to wipe somebody out. Things like that, not protecting South Korea and Japan, who are wealthy. So there's still things we could cut. But if Obama spent as much of the budget on the Pentagon base budget and OCO and had those debt payments, those high interest payments that Reagan and Clinton had and Bush's daddy, the deficit would be at least $1 trillion larger than it is right now. So Obama, if anybody tells you he's cut spending, and again, see that previous video, I got all the information in there. If anybody tells you he's cut spending like the phony doctor, McStupid, or old brown teeth, you don't have to believe him. It's bull crap. Almost brings me to using profanity. Now we're going to go to another one. I've heard everybody had jobs in the 50s. The job market was great because we had a 90% tax rate. And we were robbing the rich. And as soon as Reagan came in, cut them taxes, them House Democrats, the bottom fell out. What percentage of jobs, and I'm using, I didn't use Bureau of Labor Statistics data. I am using data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis because it's calculating them as full-time equivalents. So, for example, you could have 3 employees, and they only work enough hours to be 1 full-time equivalent employee. So what percent of all government jobs, what percent of all jobs were government jobs as a percentage of full-time equivalents? And again, I have all the links down there. Full-time, so let's look at this. What do you think it is? Take a guess. Think about it. From 1950 to 1959, this is calendar years. Government jobs, so-called government jobs that are as a percentage of full-time equivalents, 1950 to 1959, 18.01%. So part of the reason the unemployment was lower is we had a lot higher percentage of all jobs were government jobs. So basically just create a couple more departments of, and that doesn't mean that now today, since it's lower, that means, we're not adding government jobs. No, it just means government jobs aren't growing nearly as fast as the private sector. So that'd be like saying, so if military spending goes down as a percentage of GDP, that means we should spend more. Don't use that logic with a Democrat. They say, the military spending needs to get cut. So just because the percentage of jobs, FTEs that are government jobs has been going down, doesn't mean we have a dearth of government jobs all of a sudden. So between 1950 and 1959, 18.01% of all jobs were government jobs. So let's create 4 more federal departments and hire a couple 100,000 people that are retired at the age of 55 with full benefits, and boom, we got full employment. And put a couple million more people on disability, and heck, we'd have economic nirvana. Pardon the soapbox. 1978 through 1981, that's around Jimmy Carter. And I usually give the following year to the previous president because it usually takes a while to recover, even though in most of 81 Reagan was president. 1978 to 1981, government jobs as a percentage of full-time equivalents, 18.61%. So Jimmy Carter, wow. He had a horrible economy. Unemployment was skyrocketing. And we still had plenty of government workers. So, boy, Jimmy, you should have gone on a bigger hiring binge, you and that Democrat Congress. 1982 through 1989, 17.98%. So the evil Reagan had a much lower percentage of all jobs were government jobs than Jimmy Carter and in the 1950s. In the 1950s, Congress flipped back and forth a few times. It was Republican and Democrat control. I just didn't want to do all this. I wasn't going to do every single year. You'll get the gist of it. And if you want to go calculate it yourself, knock yourself out for the years I didn't do. 1994 through 2001, only 16.14% of all jobs were government jobs. So Bill Clinton had a pretty good economy. He didn't spend even close to... Bush and Obama spend so much. Bill Clinton looks like Calvin Coolidge. So Bill Clinton had a good economy. He didn't continue. As private sector jobs continued to grow, government jobs shrunk. Maybe we need to take a lesson. Bill Clinton was better with a Republican Congress than George Bush was with a Republican Congress. I hate to say that, but it's true. 2002 to 2009. And in case I think I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Bush and Obama are the two worst consecutive presidents we've had since Hoover and FDR. 2002 through 2009, 16.18%. So a slight uptick. 2010 through 2014, under Hussein Obama, 16.25% of all government jobs as a percentage of full-time equivalents. 16.25% were government jobs. So we're seeing an uptick. Not a huge uptick, but an uptick nonetheless. In other words, I'll dumb it down for you idiot Democrats. Okay? If you line up 1,000 people who have jobs, 162 and a half of them are going to be government jobs. So that's too many in my opinion. The bureaucracy, federal bureaucracy, if you look at all the how private payrolls have grown since the late 70s, early 80s, you'll see that we still have way too many government jobs. So maybe if Obama can just get a couple more, maybe expand Homeland Security, maybe turn the Pentagon into a civilian jobs hiring program, he might have a decent economy. So there it is for you. Sorry for the soapbox. Had to get all that off my chest. I have all the links underneath the video. You can go look it up as you please, but that's more ammunition in the old chamber for people who say the 1950s were great because of tax rates. No, the 1950s were only great because you're an idiot. Not saying the 50s were terrible, but the whole, oh, it's great because of tax rate, those high tax rate. No, only an uneducated idiot would say such a thing. Have a nice day, and don't thank me now.